Welcome back, and today we're still waiting on parts for the project bike. So we have some wheel bearings and we have a wheel, so we're going to crack on with that, and I'm going to use some really simple tools and techniques, stuff that you might have at home. So if you're struggling for funds, you need to change a wheel bearing, this might just be the video for you. Let's get into it. So the tools we're going to be using today, some drifts, some wheel bearings with some grease and some dust covers, and a hammer. I must stress these aren't the ideal tools to be using for the job, but if it's all you've got, it's better than nothing. Okay, so first things first, make sure your wheel's resting but not on the disc. Here it's supported by either side by these stones. So if we lift the wheel up, we can put this pick underneath this dust seal and just gently pop that out. You can reuse these, but we've got some nice new ones to put in. And then if it's a front wheel, you've got these like speedo drives, so you just want to put that down on top of the dust cover as well. Important not to lose it. Then the other side to go around again, just pop this out, being careful not to lever it against the disc. Now that they're both out of the way, we can start by getting our drift into this center tube, and what we're trying to do is wiggle it over this way. There should be a slight lip you can hit. What we're trying to do is just dislodge the spacer tube out of the way so we can start hitting that bearing. Now that you can see that spacer tube's nice and loose, we can get in there and start hitting the inner face of the bearing. That was quick. So what we were actually doing there was moving this spacer tube out of the way so we could get the drift through and so it could sit against this bearing. And then once we had it through, we could tap this side of the bearing, then that side and that side and that side, so it works its way out nice and smoothly because it's an interference fit. So what we'll do now is just turn the wheel around and do the exact same thing on the other side. Be careful when we put it down this side, we don't want to have the disc touching anything because then it can warp the disc. If you're hammering away on it, it's not going to end well. So we grab our drift again and we just slowly hit the inside of this. Okay, so you really just want to keep hitting it until it comes out. Eventually it will, and it will just let go. Like that. Nice and easy. So, now we can clean up the inside mating surfaces and then put the new bearings in. So what I'm going to do now is grab some wire wool and just gently go around where the outside of the bearings has actually rusted and left a little bit of rust on here. You don't want to do too much because this is an interference fit, which means the edge of the bearing is actually like the same size almost as this hole. So you don't want to take too much material off here, you just want to take the leftover rust. So that's enough for that side. And then again in here where it's just rusted and left a bit of residue there, just take that out. So, new bearing time. Some people say to put these in the fridge, but I don't really buy into that. What I like to do is just get the grease out, smother it in grease, and then as much grease as you can get on each face, and then a bit around the side just to help it slip in, and then just hammer it in nice and gently using the old bearing so you're not hitting on the new bearing. Place it into the hole, get the old bearing, and then use that as sort of a drift just to tap it in, just so then you're not actually hitting the new bearing's faces. Like that. So for the spacer tube, what you want to do is grab your drift again and then slowly work it out so that you can see it's centered with the two holes of the bearing, because you want it to be lined up that way with both holes of these. That's the theory. Now that's lined up, we can get the old bearing again, tap it into place with a hammer. Remember to work either side, top and bottom, just so it goes in nice and evenly. Take it off every so often just to check that it's going in square, as it were. even though it's round, but square round. Okay, so once you've got that spacer tube centered correctly, all we need to do now is get the nice new dust seals and push them on into place. I think I might just add a little bit more grease just so these are nice and protected. So get a nice dollop on my finger, work it all around in there. Then we can place the new seal in. Just push it in there, and all that grease has just come pouring out. So we can put that back. So turn it over. And on this side we've got something slightly different. We've got the actual speedo mechanism that sits in there first. So we just give that another grease in. That just sits into a little notch in the wheel, like so. Again, more grease just on top of that. Do the next new seal, a bit more grease on that. Push that down into place. And that's how easy it is to change a wheel bearing. Hope you liked what you've seen. It's a little bit of a cheating technique. There is special bearing drivers and stuff like that out there, but for no money, this is what you can do. It's not perfect, but it'll get you back on the road. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.